Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow is my name, and East-West is the show, of course. We try to cover all range of the arena, busy arena, on the global earth with all aspects. Whenever chances allow, we'll bring information, whatever information that we believe that you might need to keep you informed. Nowadays, regardless, whatever you say, the biggest thing, the biggest revolution is the internet. And big word IT takes everything, almost plays the role, an important role in every aspect of your life. Okay.
That's absolutely right.
That has, of course, in social media included. Social media is a big word. It could be anything, right? Okay, now, today joining me with my pleasure is my good friend, Mr. Zap Wellborn, and he's the founder and CEO of Wellborn Media. So Zap, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Jack. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to chat with you today, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Very good. Good news that my friend Zap has recently written a book. It's a great book, and I didn't have time to finish the whole thing, but it gives you a basic understanding about conceptually what a social network is, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is the book, by the way. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, thank you. You want to autograph it to me? Oh, you
yeah.
did already?
I did.
All right, good. Thank you very much.
Everything.
Thank you very much. Okay, good.
You're welcome.
All right. Of course, everybody is using social network. Okay. But that doesn't mean everybody realize how big or how strong or how whatever, how small, how whatever, how profound it is influential to our life. So in general, without touching any certain areas, how you define the influences of a social network to human race?
Honestly, it's
I need a large picture.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely substantial. So it does have a substantial impact on every facet of life. Before the internet came around, before cell phones, before any of that, we communicated in a totally different way. And I mean, you go to any restaurant today, you go out anywhere, and you just see people playing on their cell phones, and the engagement or the interactions between people is vastly different. And so we're picking up really good ideas from the ideas that we're getting, the things that we're deciding to do, has a heavy influence on the social media generation, and it's the things that we are interested in social media, is the things that really propel action, that propel people to do different things because they're seeing it perform well on social media. They start doing it and implementing it in their own lives. So it's just changing the way everything's working, and it's an exciting time because there's so much opportunities. We can learn from a whole bunch of different areas as well, and I really enjoy learning. But there's also a lot of challenges that come with social media too.
All right, okay. All right, good. Speaking of challenges, that's a big part. That itself could be a whole show.
Right.
Lots of challenge. You have environmental challenge. You have a conceptual challenge, and you have the information screening challenge, right? You really want to get a positivity rather than negativities, right? And so on and so forth. We'll put it later a little bit. Right now, talking about the positive influence of how heavily is it pushing the evolution of the human race? Put it that way.
Yeah, so there's so many really cool things that come about because we're in this social age. Like I remember reading articles about doctors. Before, if you were in the doctor profession, you would get all your research from books, or you'd have to go travel across the country to attend seminars or things like that. And almost instantaneously, you can get instantaneous feedback through the internet and through social media. And so it changes the ability for us to learn in a substantially quick manner. Another thing that I see a lot on the social networks is on LinkedIn or other channels, they'll show like this really cool new invention that's come out. And we talk about the 20th century as this time of vast growth and inventing a whole bunch of different things. the 21st century is going to be just so much further beyond that, because we're getting so much more information so quickly. The smart people can access other smart people so much quicker, and so there's really a lot of potential to do a lot of good.
Good.
But with that also comes the challenges of how do we monitor that growth and make sure that we're doing it in the right way.
Like what? Like every coin that has both sides. You want to see the positive sides. You want to get diminish or just shrink the negative side, right? Like the other day, I was at a seminar. One of the ketone speakers says right that the convenience of using a cell phone is that your wife can no longer lie to you. She says, "I'm with my mom," right? Okay. Should be picture with mom for me, please? I want to say hi to mom, like that.
Yeah.
And then she no longer can lie, right? This is the positive side.
Yeah.
And the negative side. The positive side being, the other day, I was having an interview with Kurt Hagman, Mr. Honorable Kurt Hagman of San Bernardino County.
I know Kurt very well.
You know Kurt, right? Yeah. And he mentioned that he was thinking about a new kind of a revolutionary move to the city government, whereby he was thinking about, to cities, city has to go for inspections, right? For example, you have a building code to apply to. Yeah. You have a gutter or something or anything. So now, to small cities, of course, might be a job for 10, 15 minutes. To large cities or large counties, in a remote area, you might have to drive 2 or 3 hours for a job. Yeah. Of inspection of a look for about 10 seconds. Okay, that's okay. And you chop it, you prove it, right? So now he's kind of thinking out of the box. Thinking is that, well, we may cyber it, we may use the social network, we may cyber it, and we may say, let the end user submit the picture or the image of whatever it is supposed to be inspected, and then the city would look at it and locate it within 5 minutes. Or 10 minutes maximum, right? Oh, yeah. One case would be small. Suppose if you push zillions of the same case, well, it could be a revolution, could be overturned.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you think that is applicable?
Oh, yeah. There's so much applications for that, and as technology improves, it's even going to make it easier to do things like that. I think that's a great thing to do. The internet, I think what it does is provides efficiency. It makes things so much easier than what they used to be. I remember in school, elementary school, high school, I was growing up with computers, but not so much the internet. And if I wanted to research something, I had to go down to the library and I had to rent out a bunch of books, and you had to do it. But now I can just access those books basically at my fingertips and go and put a report together in a matter of hours, as opposed to spending days trying to do that.
I have a bunch of dictionaries on my bookshelves. Yeah. Right? I used to go desk bookshelf, consult Word, something like that. Now you don't have to. Use Google Dictionary, consult it right away. I want an English, Chinese, Russian, whatever.
That's right.
You can do it easy like that, right?
Oh yeah. And even I don't speak a lot of different languages, but I can, if I really want to understand a certain piece of material, it's very easy to do that with the Google Translator, which it wasn't possible years ago.
Okay, just to say, I mean, are you more on the technical side, or are you more on the marketing side?
I'm more on the marketing side. So the business that I have is we help passionate business owners reach more customers using the internet. So we try to get, the reason why it works so well with passionate business owners is because they really love what they do, and so they're trying to spread a message, they're trying to get the word out. And so we try to help those businesses do that. The book that I wrote is about golf courses, and golf is an inherently passionate game, so that works out really well in terms of sharing social media on that. But yeah, I focus on marketing and social media marketing.
You use golf as a cause to teach the social network skills? What?
Well, I do. The reason why I wrote the book was because I do it for golf courses. So I handle their online marketing. So currently I have about 15 golf courses across the United States.
I see.
Where we do social media marketing for them But social media marketing isn't just, like, a lot of people will think social media is just kind of its own entity and its own field, especially the older generation who didn't grow up with social media. As people who, and I was kind of right on the verge of getting social media, but the younger generation, social media is not separate. It's just ingrained. It's part of what they do. And so it's getting golf courses to think socially so that it uses social ideas and social concepts to grow their business. Same thing for businesses too.
All right, okay. You take golf course for example, when it can be taught with a social network, business concept, business plans or whatever can also be taught with the social network, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To what extent?
Well, so in terms of growing the business, so like what we'll do with the marketing for golf courses is we use social media to reach golfers. So first off, we're just kind of exposing them to the golf course. Maybe they've never played this course before. We're exposing them to it. The second step is to try to get them to become customers, and so we offer incentives for them to become customers. And then the third step is try to make sure that we keep them as customers, so make sure that they're happy. And there's really good things, like one of the things that a lot of people point to the book is something that they really like is if you've ever played golf before, a hole-in-one is a big deal. And so what's happened in the past is, I tell this story, my brother got a hole-in-one a while back, and he went into the pro shop and he told the guy that was behind the pro shop, hey, I got a hole-in-one. And the guy just said, oh, that's great, you know, and he wrote out a little form and gave him the little sheet, and that was it. But that's not thinking very socially. If a golfer gets a hole-in-one at a golf course, you want to be celebrating that. So you take a picture, you go out to the hole, you take a picture with them, you post it on your Facebook page.
Within seconds.
Yeah, and then you say, you know, congratulations to Johnny who just got his first hole-in-one at this golf course, and you're going to make sure that people are that not only Johnny is going to be really happy because he gets not only his friends and fans, but he kind of becomes a celebrity at the golf course.
Good. Okay, my dear friends, today we're touching base with Mr. Zab Welborn, talking about social media, how we apply social media into the business arena, and taking golf course, for example, when it can be taught with social media, and everything else can, of course. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends, my dear lovely audiences. Welcome back to the beautiful discussion about our internet, about our social media. It is the name of the time, right?
Absolutely.
It's the time of social media. Everything, everywhere you see social media. Today with my friend, Mr. Zab Welborn. He's the CEO, founder and the CEO of Welborn Media, who helps people with ideas that how to apply your idea via social media to get to your target, to get your goal. In other words, using social media as an intermediate. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, well, we see lots of positive side of the social media. And quite often than not, we see negativities. Not only do we see bad information being produced, reproduced, transferred, retransferred, but also in between, amongst the people relationship getting kind of shortened, right? In what sense do you think that the social media kind of impacted our day-to-day life in a negative way, please?
Yeah, so I mean, there's really with everything, there's always like positives and negatives to it. I mean, the things that I look to as negatives is the things that you mentioned. You know, relationships are getting a lot more difficult to maintain because, well, for a lot of different reasons. One is people are posting all of their opinions and beliefs on a lot of things. So oftentimes when you're hanging out with friends, you're not really covering heavy topics, but for some reason on social media, is a lot of people really want to push their opinions and ideas on others. So that kind of can take away from friendships. Also, you have people, instead of having conversations like you and I are right now, they're on their cell phones. You know, you see it all the time at restaurants around here. you got couples going out on a date, or husband and wife going out and both of them are just playing on the phone. So that definitely limits the interactions among couples and among people in general.
That reminds me of one thing. When I was very little, my father used to teach me that when you are talking to people, or when people are talking to you, you got to look into the eyes. If you do not look into the eyes, number one, you do not get the whole message, because part of the message is in the eyes, right? And number two, you're showing your disrespect to people.
Yeah.
And number three, you were rude. Something like that.
Oh yeah.
Those are the lessons I learned.
Yeah.
Even these days, I still carry, when I talk to my son, and he's kind of fumbling with his things while I'm talking, I would rather stop, hold until he can sit down with me face to face.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that's kind of one thing that's difficult. So like me, as somebody, that's my job, that's my profession, I do social media. And so it's very hard to, like, you're constantly trying to grab for your phone or going on the computer and things like that. But I make a concerted effort to try and have, when I am talking with someone, to make sure that I'm looking them in the eyes and being courteous, because it is absolutely a rude thing to do. But when you're growing up in the generation of social media,
a simple example, you talk to me, keep talking, and let me see how you feel, right? And you keep talking to me,
I'll be talking about social media. Yes, so social media is very important.
Yeah, see, you feel comfortable like that?
Oh no, of course not.
I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that under certain conditions, when you are holding a cell phone, well, everybody has it. I have no doubt, right?
Yep.
And you do have to handle it. So now when you are handling phones, I'm handling phones, we are doing a phone-to-phone conversation. There is no eye contact necessary, right?
Yeah.
And there are things which could be understood in different ways in writing.
Oh yeah.
For example, is right. The word right.
Yeah.
Could be right.
Yeah.
Could be right.
Yeah.
Could be right.
That's right.
Could be anything.
That's totally right. Yes,
could be anything,
you're right. It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, misunderstandings are caused.
Oh yeah, and that happens all the time. I mean, I get to see that with my family and friends. You know, somebody will say something where you can definitely see it from both sides. I could see how somebody would get upset about it, but I could also see why that person just put it out there not meaning to offend someone. And so you see that happen constantly. So the written word, you're absolutely right, is completely different from talking with somebody face to face.
The worst scenario would be people already together. As a matter of fact, you and I, we can talk to face. We do not do that. We can zap. Okay, come over here.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So in a family, wife or send a message on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Say to husband, come over, dinner is ready.
Yeah.
Well, dinner is getting cold on you.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, she can yell, come over, honey, like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, people are getting distanced. Does that mean people are getting distanced? I really want to read it positively.
Yeah.
Right? Is that a good thing or bad thing? For example, like what I mentioned just now.
Yeah. I mean, we all crave human interaction, and that's one of the reasons why social media is appealing, because you get a chance to interact with 100 people at the same time, and you get a chance to feel that. But really, what we crave as humans is this kind of very intimate, one-on-one interaction kind of things. So if we're missing out on that, it is going to be the detriments to our experience as humans, as life. But there's so much potential for it that it's not a good idea to ignore it either. It's something that's very powerful, that will have a huge impact for years to come. It's not going anywhere either. So it's I mean, I see the benefits far outweigh the negatives, but there are some negatives that are associated with it. You also mentioned the information, that it's very easy to spread misinformation.
Yeah, of course.
So everybody reads something that aligns with what they think, and so they just share that as if it's something that is true when it's totally not.
Since a very early age, due to, starting from the ape time, right? People use communication not only as a tool, but also a handle to get themselves evoluted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When they start in the very first place, say, oh, meaning there's food, come over, like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then lots of folks came over. More came over. So the is the way of communication later turned into language.
Yeah.
And into face-to-face talk.
Yeah.
Now that we don't do the we do here, would that drag us back to the ape days? I'm not joking, all right?
Yeah, no, I understand.
In 5 million years, probably you're going back.
Yeah, well, so there's this book, you and I during the break, we were talking about virtual reality and things like that, and I was reading this book where it's like you're strapping on the virtual reality headset, and basically your life was just where you're kind of sitting on a couch with your little headset on, and you go online and you're interacting with other people who aren't the real people, but they're their virtual selves, which are communicating and interacting with each other.
Right.
And so then they're just kind of sitting on these chairs with the VR set on. So I can see that being the path, but I don't think it'll be going back to caveman days. I think I don't think so.
No ape days?
No. I think
I'm not exaggerating.
No?
I do have a worry.
There's so many people that are pushing things in the right direction. So we're understanding that the potential this could have to turn in a negative direction. And there are people out there who are trying to highlight the greatness of the human experience through social media, and using social media as a tool to do that, so that we have
another example is that not even back when my days when I was at school, but even when you were younger at schools, you were trained to do your handwriting. Yeah. Or you do either cursive or other type of handwriting, so that people can do handwriting. Well, you check around these days, right? You check around our young people and check their handwriting. They're horrible, including my own son.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
So all they have are just two thumbs like that.
Yeah. What I do think, though, is along those same lines, is there are skills that we have that become obsolete. So like
obsolete.
In agricultural days, you think it used to be a priority for the kids to go out and till the farm or do whatever it was that they did there, but that's no longer a required skill.
The back old days we have typists, remember?
And yeah,
we have a typist who type very fast without looking at the keyboard themselves, right?
Yeah.
Now there's no such profession.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So those kind of things become obsolete. So what it means is, I'm thinking of math in elementary school. You're learning the addition tables. We have a calculator at our fingertips 24/7, and so there's skills you can apply. So what would be better to teach than doing the handwriting or doing the skills is what is that? How can you translate that to a higher level thinking than just the
all right, very good.
skills?
So now I know that. I know very little about the technical part of the whole thing, right? I understand somehow there's a big server, a huge server.
Okay.
Right, big one. What if something happens to that one thing, right? And then all the servers shut down, everything shut down. We used to even have a calculator separately. We can calculate, right?
Yeah.
Now our calculators are on here.
Yeah.
So needless to say, the calculator is down.
Yeah.
So what if something happens and you and I sit here? We can do nothing.
Yeah. I can understand that point.
That's disastrous.
But I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that won't happen. That there are different servers, as you'd say, that house different pieces of information. So while a handful of them may go down, I don't think that. I think that it's kind of the thing.
What if some solar flares that kills everything on Earth? Right? Okay,
yeah.
Could be.
No, it totally could be. But I also see that if that were to happen, then we adapt from there. Right now, we're adapting in the social age.
I'm not trying to be a prophet. I'm just trying to worry what I want to worry. My dear audience, today, it's not a bad thing. Every now and then you worry a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course.
That pushes you forward, right?
It absolutely does.
Okay. With my friend Zeb, he allows me to worry a little bit. So I did worry a little bit. So when we come back though, we would want to do this. Like say we want to handpick positivities out of the mixture call a salad of negativities. Everything together, we do the positive thing. All right. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. As you can see, I get excited already. And every time when you are talking about something that I do not know much, I get excited. Because I get half excited, half embarrassed. And because I'm in it, right? Talking about social network, even though I use a lot. And I believe that if you have a TV at home, you turn on channel 44.9, you see my show. Every morning, 8 o'clock, you see me. The fact you are seeing me now, you are turning your TV on. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see me. Yet, if you have a cell phone, don't worry about your television. If you have the G&E TV application downloaded, you can see me everywhere, anywhere, and any moment you want to see. Not only can you see me for one time, you can see me 1,000,000 times if you wish.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, just keep clicking. That's it.
There you
right?
go. Yeah.
Now, Zap, you and me are on the same boat. If they're clicking me, seeing me, they can't prevent seeing you, right? Same thing. Now, that's the benefit of doing this social network.
Absolutely.
Right. Internet, smartphone app, and the iPad, those things, anything, everything. Right. Now, those are positive things. Yet, on the social network, there are hundreds of negativities. How do you view this, please?
How do I view the
negativities?
The negative, I mean, so negativity has always been around, regardless of whether there's social media, anything. And so there are people who just act negatively. In online terms, they call them trolls. These are people who are not very well behaved in real life or on social channels. And so it's I see that all of the same human characteristics that have been in existence for the period that we've been alive is still just translated onto social media. The thing that it does, though, what social media does, is it makes people more aware of that stuff. And so you can see it because in the normal interactions, like let's say somebody's being a difficult person, they're going to be like to an individual. So like let's say you're driving in the car, you're honking your horn at somebody. That's just a one-on-one person interaction. When you're honking on somebody on social media, it can be seen by hundreds of people or thousands of people.
In seconds.
And so it becomes more obvious that there's those type of people out there. But those type of people are very few and far between. So as with everything, it just amplifies the
in other words, you're talking about human behavior.
Yeah.
Right? When they behave day-to-day life in such a way, they must behave the same way on the internet.
Well, that's kind of the interesting thing is they don't behave the same way. Often very nice people are the ones that we would call trolls on the internet. Often people who are very nice on the internet might not be very nice in person too.
I see.
But it's
the pervs.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So, okay.
Yeah.
And lots of teachers do that.
Yeah,
preachers do that,
yeah.
right? So, okay, very good. So, for that, it is subject to us. You pick it or not pick it. Right? So you selectively do things that will help you rather than kind of like destroy you.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely right. Yes, and so when it comes to like what we decide to do on social media, the thing about social media is also very interesting is because we're allowed to take algorithms of human behavior. And so if let's say like I really like soccer, I play a lot of soccer, it's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm constantly clicking on soccer articles on my Facebook page online. And so what the internet does is it starts to send me more of that stuff because they know that I like it and less of the things that I don't like. So if you're commenting on a bunch of negative things about that, you're going to see a lot more of that in your news feed versus if you're clicking on, liking, sharing the happy, good things that you like about life. So that's one thing to keep in mind as you're going through your social channels is making sure that you're clicking and sharing and liking the things that are going to make you feel good and not so much do it on the things that make you feel not so good.
And that, of course, doesn't exclude those extremes. I recall a week ago I came across a piece of clip depicts the ISIS execution.
Oh, really?
Oh, believe me, about 5 seconds into it, I started feeling dizzy. I turned it off. It wouldn't turn off. I killed the phone and get the battery out to turn it off. I knew I was kind of shocked. I knew it was kind of like mentally at that very moment, I was mesmerized by the scene I saw. Too bloody, too much for the eye.
Yeah.
A man like my age couldn't even stand, right? What if it falls into the eye of kids?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely is one of the challenges of the internet, is that kids, I have a 4-year-old, or he's a lot older now, but before he was like 2 years old, and so before he could even talk, his parents gave him the iPad. But he would be able to go through and through YouTube, and by clicking on the things that he liked, and he can't even talk yet, he can't type anything, but he would be able to go to these car crash videos because he just liked watching these car crash videos. And so he would go, and it would just filter him to these different places, and he kept going there. But he's like ingrainedly knows how to get to those places.
I can prove to you, I can testify that how early childhood impressions goes along with you for almost a whole life.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was little, one of my neighbors died. A very nice grandma. She was very, very nice. She was so nice to me. At that time, I was too little to understand the word even death. I never knew what the word death means.
Yeah.
Right. And she passed away. And then when we paid last tribute, respect to her, the casket, whatever, they took me. My mom insisted I'm not going. But my dad says that she used to be so kind to him, better take him.
Yeah.
So I was taken. When I look at her face, now dead face, that very second, the image of that very second goes till even today. Mm-hmm. Even nowadays. Yeah. Sometimes when I have a bad dream, I always have her in my mind. So that's how heavily, how profoundly, and childhood damage could go with you by even, something that you're not supposed to see. Yeah. I believe the execution scene that I saw has fallen into many, many eyes of our kids. Mm-hmm. That damage is devastating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there a thing to eliminate, to enforce, right?
Yeah, there are some things, so like parents that can install for kids that make it sure that it's kid-safe videos. And that's a big concern. So like I know that in the social media channels, they all want to try to figure out ways to make sure that kind of stuff doesn't get in the hand of kids. And so I know that YouTube and a bunch of those other social channels, they have like kid-friendly versions. Facebook, you're not allowed, in theory, you're not allowed to sign up before a certain age. And so they're trying to make sure that if their kids are using these tools, that they are using, that they're not seeing that kind of thing. Having said that, if you're a parent and you've got a kid, like we have a son. I have a newborn son. He's about 1.5 years.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So I'm not going to let him use my electronic devices without me being there.
Okay, very good.
So I'm going to make sure that I'm there.
And I believe sooner or later there's going to be a censorship for, like, say, PG guidance or whatever. And there could be in this whole system that you have to pass that test before you get into it, right? Like something like that. Anyway, today with my friend Zab, I'm sharing a lot, and he's sharing a lot. It's a beautiful concept about using internet, using the social network, even the smartphone app, everything included, as a tool to push yourselves, push for productivity, not for damage, of course. So let's take a short moment now. When we come back, let's see how we look into our future, please. Okay. All right, so stay with us. Hello, dear folks, my dear lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Like I said many times, as a responsible show host, I always taken my obligation to bring information that I believe necessary for you to be referential to guide your day-to-day life. Right? I'm not doing a pastor job. I'm trying to pastor everybody around me who I can help to see if I can give you something that will positively lift your life after lifting your life, right? That's why my audience like me a lot. They're my fans. They write to me, right?
Yeah, that's excellent.
And quite often than not, I'm recognized at a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
They came to shake hands with me. They hug me. All right, good.
That's great.
Good. Thank you. Yes, that's it. Talking about into the future, we're looking at all kinds of hit already there. We have driverless cars.
Yeah.
We have the VR, virtual reality thing, and so on and so forth. How about if you lead me into a future tour to see about our expectation? I mean, possible expectations.
Yeah. I'll try the best I can. My focus is always with social media is on business and how to grow businesses and doing.
Okay,
things
even
like
doing business, there is a huge future aspect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So this is kind of the way that I see it. Technology is definitely going to be ingrained more and more in our lives. You're going to see a lot more. I just attended this conference called Traffic and Conversion down in San Diego this past weekend, which was really great and kind of eye-opening about the future of the internet and how we're going to be using that to grow our businesses. One of the things that they did mention was that wearable technology was going to be something that was pretty prevalent here in the future. So I'm thinking like the Fitbits or those smart watches, the things that you have on your watch. But then there's also so many other things. You mentioned the virtual reality kind of goggles.
The VR thing, yeah.
I just got myself the AirPods, which are the wireless earpieces that you could put from Apple. So there's a lot of really, the wearable technology is going to be big. So that's one. Number two would be augmented reality. So as opposed to virtual reality, augmented reality is kind of like, I'm imagining, and this is kind of the way that I see it, is you're putting on like glasses or goggles or something like that. And as you're walking, let's say you're walking around the store, the prices for these different items will just show up in your screen. So it's not actually there, but because you have the glasses on, it's showing you the prices and different things as you're walking into these different areas. There was another video that I saw of, there was like just a screen that was put up and it was like a mirror, but as you looked into it, so I think it was from Ray-Ban. If you looked into the mirror, you would see your Ray-Ban glasses on as if you were wearing them. You weren't wearing them, but you could check. You could basically test drive them without even using it.
Say if you visit a wax store or wig store, right? You try this one, put it on. Try the other one with on. You don't have to actually put it on. You will look at the how you look.
Exactly, yeah. You just look in the mirror and you would see what that wig would look like or what that hat would look like or whatever it is without actually physically trying it on.
And that could be a fitting room try for your jackets.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we can do that. And then as we mentioned, virtual reality is one thing too where I do see like video games is a huge industry. So you've got people that are just playing video games constantly. There was a I can't remember. There's some big video game conference that just went on, and the World Series of this video game that went on basically sold out the Staples Center, was viewed by more people than the Super Bowl. It's just crazy how big these video games have gotten, and virtual reality is going to be taking that a step further.
Let me ask you a question. Talking about game playing though,
yes,
I recall there is a joystick thing, like the hand-shift drive, right?
I remember those, yeah.
Right, the joystick thing, and then now you're using computer keys.
Yeah, some people, yes.
You have the up-going key, down-going key, left-going key, whatever, right-going key. And what else are we using now?
So there's actually a lot of things. Most people that I know, they use the controller to play video games. But there is a virtual reality component. I know that the Xbox came out with this thing where it just kind of spans across your TV and it films your motions. And so you're making motions to do the actions on the TV. So that's one thing that they were doing there.
Oh, when that is mentioned, can you do karate, whatever, because it does according to your motion anyway, or like that. Take that motion as the actual move of your fighting.
Yeah, yeah.
It can be done that way.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think they do have it that way, where there are programs.
They do have it that way now, or
I think
they
so.
will do it.
I think so. Where they're kind of, you do your karate skills moves, and it lines up with, like, if you're in a box, as if you're doing karate against somebody else on the computer.
And you have your counterpart doing according to what you do.
Yeah,
right?
or yeah, exactly. Like, as if you're fighting, but you're not really fighting an actual person. You're fighting a virtual person.
In that case, you're actually fighting, really fighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very good. So, is there something already here, or something to expect?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of things that are already here, and to be honest with you, I'm not fully up on the like what the newest and greatest technologies are. But I do know that. I mean, I have tried on those virtual goggles, and so you do get a chance to see what virtual reality is like, as if things are moving around you.
And often I see a cell phone like this size, like this thin. They can bend it like that.
Oh yeah.
Is there something totally out of concept, or is there something already there? My question is, if they do not have a physical thing to hold on, how can they shoot something?
How can they shoot something?
How can they shoot an image? As a matter of fact, they're actually bending it.
Yeah. I mean, I that part I don't know too much about, but I have seen there's like little bends in different products. And
those
like
are
that.
too much technical part in there, right?
Yeah, and that's just. I mean, I don't know. It's too. Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, that's what on the age that we're living in. Why it's so amazing is because there is so much things like that, which before was never even conceivable, but now we have them in our everyday lives. I remember as a kid, I just thought, oh, wouldn't it be the coolest thing if you could talk to somebody across the country and see them on video?
Exactly.
And now we do that every day. We're using the video features on our phone, not just, and I was thinking of in front of the computer. Now we're using it from our phones.
33 years ago, when I came here, when I first landed on this soil, when you call China International using AT&T, you know how much it costs per minute?
Oh, I have no idea, but I can imagine it was a lot.
$6.99.
Oh my gosh.
$6.99 is the dollar of 33 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And now nobody even uses telephone.
Right.
Use social network. I can get my relatives back home any given moment. I can wake them up now.
We should try it.
We should try it, right? And my brother is sleeping right now. It's 2 o'clock, 2 in the morning. So like that. So speaking of the convenience that pushes it forward, though, I mean, if you look at from that point on, from the AT&T time point on to right now, it looks like big jump. But right now, nobody gets surprised to see that I have a phone.
Right.
Okay, now, exactly the same thing. Now you will be surprised if somebody tells you can fly without having to go aboard a air flight. You can fly yourself.
Right.
So you get surprised.
Right.
There could be someday there's no longer a surprise. You can fly like that.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And that's one, I remember as a kid, my dad was talking about, there's DVDs that had just come out. And we'd always go to Blockbuster and get these VHSs, VHS sets, and we use those.
DVD is wonderful. Wow, get surprised like that. Huh?
That's right. And he's telling me about, he's like, so do you think that they're going to be using DVDs? And I was like, I don't know. How could they do that? Everybody uses VHS.
I was surprised that later says a DVD holds one film. And later say 5 film altogether? No, come on like that. Okay, now, talking about that, either before we fly, so there are cars can fly, right? So do you think that could be something in the foreseeable future?
I honestly think that if we can think of it, we can do it. It's just a matter of if the people are willing to take on the task to do it. So that's one of the things that you mentioned. Like, nobody thought of this 30 years ago.
Nobody even know.
But somebody did, and now we did. And now we all think that way. So there's people who are inventive enough to think of things, and those just things become normal.
And later, when the first cell phone became prevailing, you remember how they look? Kind of like that.
Right, yeah, you had
like a piece of brick like that. You have a antenna, like that, right?
I did, yeah.
Right, good. So I'm talking about the cars that fly, right?
Yes.
So looks like a car, and you drive it out, and then flip off their 2 wings, and it goes on a way kind of like even on grass, and goes accelerating and it flies.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I do think that. So there'll be. I'm not sure everything is going to look the way that we think it's going to look. So, but I do think that that's a possibility of a direction that we could take as a society. There'd be challenges with that in terms of figuring out how to make sure people aren't crashing all over the place. They have those. I was seeing the drones. So there a lot of people have those drones, and there's like these auto follow drones where they automatically follow you as you're walking down the place. So there's definitely opportunities to do that. I think that when we imagine what we think it will be like in the future, it's probably going to look a little bit different, but there will be the capabilities and people will be able to do that stuff, and it's just a matter of time and effort and energy.
I'd like to use your quote. I'd like to ask your permission to borrow your quote.
Oh yeah.
Anything you can think of it, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, I'd like to borrow that quote for the ending of this show. We're over time, but happily. So with my friend Zap, we're having lots of information in a wonderful moment, talking about social network. It is something that not only pervading in nowadays life, it will lead into our future. So,
absolutely.
To my audience, thank you very much for watching, and to Zab, thank you for coming here to share.
Thank you very much. This was great.